The gorgeous kitchen, the floors, the trim, the fixtures. That is a big, friendly looking sign, but that's the wrong number. Taylor Rogers is at Revolution Mortgage, is a great friend of mine, tremendous loan officer. It's not a lie exactly, like per se. It's not that it's a bad buy. Half the time it's a great buy. It's like, cool. Okay, I guess we'll go deal with that. You're standing in a model home. The kitchen is perfect. The sales rep is friendly. She's got your name. She offered you a water. And you're about to make a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 decision on new construction in Columbus with exactly one problem. There's nobody in that room that's actually on your side. That lovely sales rep, and she probably is lovely, works for the builder, not for you. And there are things about buying new construction here in Columbus that the builder is simply not going to volunteer. Not because they're crooks, but because it's not their job to protect your money. It's mine. So let me be the guy in your corner for the next 15 minutes because I grew up around this. I read a new build the way my family taught me to read any build, and I'm going to show you where the real costs and the real leverage are hiding. And here's what's at stake right up front. That number on the sign out by the model, the one that says starting in the low 500s, that is a big, friendly looking sign, but that's the wrong number. It's not a lie exactly, like per se, but it's the smallest, prettiest slice of what this home is actually going to cost you. By the time that you add all of your upgrades and you add all of your finishes, you're walking in thinking that you're getting a deal, and then you walk out having paid tens and tens of thousands of dollars that you didn't anticipate on a house that you love, and once the final numbers are slid in front of you, you have no idea what happened. That's the trap with new construction. It's not that it's a bad buy. Half the time it's a great buy. And that's the whole sales process, built to show you the monthly and hide the total. So we're going to unhide it. Secret number one, and it's the foundation of everything. The base price is the starting line. It's not the price. It's the price of a version of this house that you can buy that almost nobody actually buys. Here's what the base price does not include. And you have to add every one of these up to know like what your real number is. So here's what the base price does not include. And you do have to add every one of these to know what your real number actually is. First, the lot premium. The good lots, the cul-de-sac, the ones backing to trees instead of a neighbor's fence, those cost more. And it can be anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 on top of base price. Second, the finishes. The model home you fell in love with is fully loaded. The gorgeous kitchen, the floors, the trim, the fixtures, a lot of that is an upgrade, not base. The base house is a different, plainer house than the one you walk through. Third, taxes. And this one blindsides people. It's so frustrating. Your taxes get assessed on the new finished value of the home, not the vacant lot you're standing on when you sign. That bill lands later, and it lands bigger than the estimate. And fourth, the HOA, plus any special assessment the new community hasn't finished tallying up yet. So the real math is base price plus lot premium plus the finishes you actually want plus the taxes on the real value plus the HOA. Run the total, not the monthly. Run that total always. Because I've watched a base price that felt like a bargain turn into a number well north of the resale down the street. Once every one of those got added in, and nobody at the model volunteered to do that math for you. I've so many times throughout my career, I've had buyers come to me saying that we saw some new construction. You know, we're in the midst of a resale search, and they're driving home from work one day and they see a sign out by the road that says starting in the low 400s. Yes, it is. Or it'll just say homes in the low 400s or something like that. And then once they add the little landing at the top of the stairs, you know, place for the kids to play or whatever purpose they had for that, or they finish the basement, or they do like a partially finished basement, or decide that they want these floors over those floors, all of a sudden the bill is hundreds of thousands of dollars higher, and we end up going right back and looking at resale. Not pushing you towards resale, not pushing you away from new homes. They both have their own, you know, merits and qualities and incentives for buying them, but just giving you an idea. So you'd think the answer is just walk away from new construction, but no, because builders right now are doing something resale sellers almost never do. they're buying down your interest rate. In early 2026, a major builder was advertising rates in the high fours, around 4.875%, when the market was sitting at 6 to 6.5. Later in the same year, some were offering up to $40,000 in flex cash instead to put towards whatever upgrade you want. That's real money, and it's why a brand new build can genuinely carry a lower monthly payment than an older resale like a mile down the road. And it's why a brand new build can genuinely carry a lower monthly payment than an older resale a mile down the road. 2 years ago, that sentence would have been a joke. Today, it's often true. But here's the catch, and it's the whole reason I bring it up. The buydown only moves one number. It moves principal and interest. That's it. It does not touch your taxes, it does not touch your insurance, and it does not touch your HOA or that lot premium. So the builder waves a beautiful low payment at you, and it's real, but it's only real on one line of a 5-line bill. Run the total. The buy down is a genuine tool, and I love it for the right buyer, but you have to see the whole number it's sitting inside, not just the pretty part that they put on the sign. And let me be fair here, because I'm not anti-new construction, not even close. I actually love it. So when does new actually win? When that buy down genuinely beats what you'd get on a resale, and right now it often does. When you want a floor plan built for how people actually live today, open, big kitchen, real storage, a home office that isn't a converted bedroom. So when you're just done inheriting somebody else's deferred maintenance, their aging roof, their tired furnace, their 30-year-old everything, new construction can be a genuinely great buy in 2026. Better than it's been in years. So my point is not to buy it. My point is buy it with your eyes open and a real total in front of you, because a great product bought on the wrong number is still a bad deal. Secret number 3. To get that shiny incentive, the buy down, the flex cash, there's almost always a string attached. You have to use the builder's preferred lender. Every lender has it. D.R. Horton uses DHI. MI Homes uses MIF, MI Financial. Rockford actually uses NFM, which is a local lender, not their own lending institution baked into the umbrella that is Rockford. But most of them use their own financing arm to their company. And here's what they're actually counting on, that you'll be so happy about that incentive that you won't shop that rate. So I've mentioned Taylor Rogers quite a few times, but I had some clients that were buying a house with MI Homes. They had a really good interest rate. They weren't going to have to sell their house in order to buy the new house. We were able to do things at our pace, and we were building from the ground up. We dug a hole and designed everything. Sometimes you can buy inventory homes where the house is almost done. But anyway, we get to 2 weeks out from closing, and they tell us, nope, turns out you do need to sell your house. And it's cool. Okay, I guess we'll go deal with that. At the same time, we went ahead and shopped that interest rate that MI had to see if maybe another lender could figure out a way that we could close on that house without selling first. Not only was Taylor able to figure out a way to not sell the house, not sell their existing house to pay for the new one, but he actually ended up beating MI Financial's rate too, which is pretty hard to do. Builders, they buy money in bulk, so they get a crazy low interest rate, and then they pass that on to the consumer. That's why builders' rates often just absolutely trounce anything that you could get from a traditional loan officer mortgage lender. But shop it. You never know, right? You never know. D.R. Horton's 3.99%. That's going to be really, really tough to beat. No one's going to be able to touch that. So sometimes the builder's lender genuinely is the best deal. Oftentimes they are, actually. And once you factor the incentive in, sometimes it absolutely is not, and they're making back a chunk of that incentive on the fees and the rate over the life of the loan. The only way to know is to do the one thing they're hoping you skip. Get one independent quote from your own lender. Put the two side by side. All in, incentive included, fees included. Maybe the builder wins. Great. Now you know. Maybe your guy wins and you just save thousands of dollars. Either way, you made them earn it instead of, just assuming. Never take the builder's lender on faith just because the incentive's dangling in front of you, I guess is my point. And when you compare those two lenders, compare the whole thing, not just the rate. Look at the interest rate, sure, but also the lender fees, the points, the closing costs, what the incentive is actually worth in real dollars, all on one sheet, side by side. A builder's lender can show you a lower rate and quietly make it back in the fees, or a higher rate that the incentive more than covers. The only honest comparison is all-in cost over the years you'll actually own the house. Make both lenders put it in writing too. The one who won't put it in writing just told you something. So I had some buyers that were getting ready to close on their MI home, and MI Financial told us at the beginning that we didn't need to sell our old house in order to pay for the new one. We could close on the new one and then put the old house on the market. Great. That's perfect timing. Nobody's rushed. They can move at their own, pace, and we can get the house staged and sold, and everything's going to be fine. But then 2 weeks before closing, they're like, is that house on the market yet? And it's like, what the hell? No. So we talked to another lender, Taylor Rogers. He's at Revolution Mortgage. He's a great friend of mine, tremendous loan officer. And he figured out a way to kind of work the numbers around to where we didn't have to do that, and to where we didn't have to sell first. And he was able to get a lower rate than MI Financial was even offering. So lower rate, less fees, no home sale contingency. Good job, Taylor. So all that being said, you got the real total, you've got the right lender. Therefore, the only thing left that can wreck you is the house itself. And this is where I actually grew up. You inspect a new construction home every time. Now, the only thing left that can actually wreck you is the house itself. And this is something I actually grew up around, new high-end residential construction. And a lot of people don't realize you inspect a new construction home too, like every time. New does not mean flawless. New means no one's ever lived there to find any problems yet, and that job is now yours. So the builder will do a walkthrough, and it's kind of like a blue tape walkthrough where any little blemishes, you put a piece of blue tape and then it gets added to the punch list. You can 100% inspect a new home. Do it. They don't care. And this is the part that I call kind of the Carpenter read. 3 generations of my family built houses, and I read a new build the way they taught me. I know where the finish work hides. A house gets built very fast by a lot of different crews, and things can get missed. Framing that's not quite right. Flashing that's done in a hurry before a rain. Grading that's going to send water at your foundation in the first big storm. The stuff that's buried behind drywall and looks perfect on move-in day becomes your $10,000 problem in year 3. So 2 things. 1, get your own independent inspection, not just the builder's, before you close. And use your walkthrough punch list like it's a legal document, because it kind of is. Actually, it literally is. 2, if you can, get eyes on it at the pre-drywall stage when the bones are still open and you can actually see the framing and the mechanicals before they get covered up forever. 2 different types of new construction homes that you can buy for the most part. One is ground up. You design the home, the builder digs a hole, the house gets built on top of it. The other is inventory. So big builders and the rate that Columbus is growing and the rapidity that the houses are being sold in, they'll just build them, right? They'll just pick the most popular flooring, the most popular finishes, the most popular lighting and cabinets and countertops and all that, and they just build them, and a buyer will eventually come along. So if you're buying an inventory house, you don't have an opportunity to do a post-framing pre-drywall inspection. If you're starting at the very beginning and you're building the house in its entirety to your specifications, you have that option. My recommendation, James DeGraw with Elevate Inspections. They're out of Upper Arlington. James is a phenomenal, incredibly thorough home inspector. He has a product, a home inspection product, that a lot of other home inspectors don't offer for new construction, but it's a 2-parter, and he breaks the cost of that inspection into 2. So he will do a pre-drywall inspection, which is exactly what I just talked about. He'll look at all the electrical, look at all the plumbing, look at all the HVAC, look at the framing, make sure that everything's copacetic in the skeleton, the guts of the home. And then the drywall goes down or goes on, and the cabinets get put in, the countertops get put on, and the flooring goes in, and everything gets painted, and now you have a finished home. Then he comes back and does another inspection, part 2. And like I said, he breaks that cost of the inspection into halves. So It's a little more palatable, a little more budget friendly, and it gives you 2 layers of inspection on a house that no one's ever lived in yet. So it's a tremendously valuable product. But the builder isn't going to suggest that you inspect them harder. Of course they're not. That's my job. And again, that's the Carpenter's read out loud. When I walk a house that's still open, here's exactly what I'm looking at. And you can look at this too. At Pre-Drywall, before they cover everything up, I want to see straight framing, no big gaps, studs where they belong. I want plumbing and ductwork run clean, not crammed in as an afterthought. I want exterior sheeting taped, the window flashing done right, because that is your water defense for the next 30 years, and it's about to disappear behind that siding forever. I want to see how the ground slopes away from the foundation, because water is patient and it always wins if the grade sends the water back at your foundation. None of that is visible on move-in day. After they put the sod in and all that, all of it is cheap to fix while the walls are open and extremely expensive to fix after they close. That's the walkthrough that pays for itself. And now let me tell you the part that actually makes new construction great, because it's the exact opposite of what everyone assumes. Your inspection report on a new build is going to come back longer than any resale report, like on average. But I've seen new construction inspection reports come back that are like 70 pages long. And the first time you see it, you're going to panic a little bit and think that you bought a lemon. Don't worry, you didn't. It's long because the whole thing is brand new. And again, no one has ever lived in it. So every little thing that's still sitting there waiting to be found, most of it is small. But here's the beautiful part, and this is honestly why I love helping people buy new construction. Builders are the easiest sellers in the world to negotiate repairs with, like the easiest. On a resale, every single repair request is a fight. The seller takes it personally. They push back. They tell you the house is fine, and you end up haggling over a $400 item like it's a freaking divorce. I just had one close off Morse Road, and there was a small gap underneath the door, or to the garage, like the man door that goes out into the garage. There was a small gap there. You just needed something underneath to keep that car exhaust from going into your kitchen. It's like a $7 part or a $10 part I found on Lowe's website. And I swear you thought that we were like a $36,000 basement repair or something. Like, we fought so hard, and eventually my buyers are just like, whatever, fine, don't put it there. We'll do it ourselves. It's literally 4 screws. But that's the BS that you get into a lot of times with resale. Everybody has an ego. Everybody fights vehemently over the dumbest little details, or the problem is too big and the deal falls apart. The builder does not do that. The builder wants that house perfect the day you move in, because their reputation walks through that neighborhood behind you. Every future buyer in that community is going to hear about how they treated you. Therefore, we don't really negotiate at all. We just send them the entire inspection report, the whole thing, and they come back and say, okay, thanks, we're on it. That's the conversation. That's genuinely how it goes. So inspect it hard, not because you're scared of the house, because on a new build, everything you find, you actually get. We had actually the house that I was telling you about earlier with MI Homes. So their original house was a D.R. Horton house. They bought it a few years ago. And our closing date was December 27th. All new construction companies, they want to get as many of their homes completed and sold and closed on before January 1st, right? Get them off their books, start the new year. And they really wanted to close this on the 27th. And we had our inspection report. It was massive. There was a lot, right? And Sam Emig with D.R. Horton is a phenomenal sales rep. I love working with him. I actually have a Builder Spotlight series on my channel, so make sure you check that out. But we sent over our inspection report. Sammy says, I'll get it taken care of. Now, as you might realize, there's a pretty big holiday right before the 27th of December. And the week leading up to that, temperatures plummeted. Like, it's already December, right? It's winter, but it was -30. it snowed like a foot and a half or something like that, and then temperatures dropped from like low 30s all the way down to negative 30 degrees with the wind chill. I think the actual thermometer was reading like negative 13. It was cold. They got every single item on that punch list, on that inspection report that we were concerned about, done before the 27th. They had to have like 15 or 20 contractors out there working on that house in that freezing cold. It blew my mind how like agreeable they were, how on top of it they were, how they were just so committed to protecting their reputation and getting that house closed on time. That's just one example. My fiance has a new building contract right now, and the roof, this builder uses metal roofs, which is amazing because they last forever. But that entire roof, the whole roof system is inherently flawed. Like there is just so much wrong with it that's like, I'm sorry, you got to do it again. And the sales rep and the project manager went out and looked at it, and they're like, yeah, this is horrible. That's the end of the conversation. They're going to tear it off and put it back, put a new one on. Like it really is that simple. But finding the problem doesn't help unless you can fix or make somebody fix it. Therefore, leverage. And on a new build, it's never where you think. So that was a bit of a rant, but fact of the matter, my point remains: get an inspection. Builders are super easy to deal with. You would be shocked at what they can pull off in a tight window, a tight time frame, and how committed they are to making sure that everything is perfect when you move into that house. And you still have a walkthrough, just like a resale, where you go in and you verify that that everything was done. You can even have your inspector come back out if you really want that type of granularity and attention to detail. It's not a big deal. So finding the problem doesn't really help you unless you can make somebody fix it, therefore leverage. And on a new build, it's never where you think. On price, you have less room than you'd like. The builder guards that price very hard because cutting it lowers the comps for every other home that they've got to sell in that community. So don't spend all of your energy trying to knock 10 grand off the sticker. You're probably not going to win that fight. Where you win is on everything around the price, upgrades thrown in, closing costs covered, the buy down getting extended, the lot premium waived. That's where the builder will actually move because none of it drops the recorded price that protects their comps. So you ask for the right things, not the wrong ones. And one more, because timing is its own kind of leverage. The best lots and the strongest incentives go early. When a builder's opening a new phase and motivated to get momentum, or late when they're trying to close out a section before year end, knowing when a community is releasing and having a relationship with the people that actually know, that's how you get the good lot at the right moment instead of the leftover one. That's a lot of what I do. I know these builders, and being first is worth real money in this game. Secret number 6, and this one's about time, because a new build is not a house you buy, it's a house you have to wait for, and the waiting has teeth. When you lock your interest rate, that lock has an expiration date, 60 days, 90, maybe 120. But your house might take 6 months, 8 months, longer, and builders miss their completion dates all the time. Weather, supply, labor, it slips. So here's the trap. Your rate lock expires when the house is getting framed. Rates have climbed in the meantime, and suddenly that beautiful payment you signed up for is gone, and you're closing on a worse one. Ask before you sign exactly how the builder handles this. Some offer an extended lock, an 8-month lock, a float down. Some leave you exposed and shrug. And I know which Columbus builders are which right now. Not going to read that list on camera because it changes every quarter, and I'd rather just hand you the current one. Ask me for it. That one question, what happens to be my rate if you're late? Can more? Ask me for it. That one question, what happens to my rate if you're late, can be worth more than every upgrade they throw at you combined, and the builder is not going to raise it. You have to. Secret number 7, and it stacks right on top of that. Your new build comes with a real warranty. Typically, you're looking at 10 years on the structure, foundation, right? 5 years on the roof, 2 years on the mechanicals, and about a year on workmanship. Now, that varies by builder, and the gap between builders is wider than most people think, which is worth knowing before you pick one. Most buyers get that warranty, file the paperwork away, and then kind of forget it exists. Don't. That first year is when the house tells you what you got or what got rushed. The nail pops, the door that won't latch after everything settles, the grout that cracks, the corner of the yard where water pools after a storm. Keep a running list from day one and hit the builder with the whole punch list in writing before that 1 year mark closes. Before the year, it's their checkbook. After the year, it's yours. And the builder's not going to call you to remind you that the clock's running out, so ride those warranties hard. And so here's the grounding, dated to right now, 2026. Builders across the Columbus and Delaware corridors, a lot of it tied to the Intel growth out east, are running rate buydowns to the high fours and flex cash offers up towards like $40,000, while resale sellers rarely offer that same mechanism, that same tool. Market rates are sitting around 6 to 6.5. That's exactly why new construction is genuinely competitive on the monthly right now. And it's also exactly why you have to run the total, because the four costs, the sign doesn't show you lot premium, real value, real world taxes, HOA, the upgrades, or the difference between a great buy and expensive one dressed up as a great buy. Again, I come from a long line of German carpenters where everything is perfect. And everything is done with care, and everything has to be so perfect before the drywall goes on, before the trim goes on, before the flooring goes in, before the paint goes down. Like, everything is built as if somebody is going to see it. And that just isn't the case with new construction. I mean, if you go to Bob Webb, or you take it even further to like Kevin Knight, or, Guzzo and Gardner, or like some of these really high-end custom companies out there, that's where you start getting into the very specific and detail-oriented and granular approach to the building process. But your big box builders at your lower price points, they just kind of slap things together, and they have different subcontracting crews. So like in Plain City, for example, you'll have MI Homes and Pulte and DR Horton all building within a mile of each other. It's the same drywall crew. It's the same concrete crew. It's the same roofing crew that builds all of those. They just give them different materials. But the workmanship doesn't really vary from company to company, because it's the same group of people that are going around to the different projects doing these installs and doing this work. So get it inspected. Make sure you know what you're buying. Make sure you pop the hood on this stuff, because builders are so easy to work with. You just give them the inspection report and they say, "Thank you, I'm on it." And it'll get done in like record time. And you can, again, have an inspection. So James DeGraw with Elevate Inspections in Upper Arlington, freaking love James. Shout out to James. You want to talk to James if you're buying any kind of a property, residential property. But with new construction, he does a 2-phase inspection. He does a pre-drywall and a finished product. So before everything gets covered up with drywall and siding and all that, James will go in and look at the framing. He'll look at the HVAC. He'll look at the electrical. He'll look at the plumbing. He'll make sure that the electric panel was installed right. Make sure that the windows are all put in correctly, and just really look behind the curtain before the curtain goes up. And then right before you close, you do your walkthrough, we'll have another inspection, the second phase of that inspection, where he tests everything else, all the finishes, make sure everything that they did, pre-drywall was taken care of. And then you give the inspection report to the builder again, and they fix all of those things. And then you can go do your final walkthrough, the blue tape walkthrough, where you put blue tape over a nail pop and blue tape on a little scratch here and a dent there and that kind of thing. Make sure you get it inspected, because builders are so easy to work with. They're so easy to work with when it comes to getting those repair items taken care of. It's not like resale where you have to fight like it's a freaking divorce over flashing that goes under a door that keeps carbon monoxide from coming in from the garage. Or heaven forbid, it's a problem that's so big that it just kills the deal. A water line or a sewer line that has to be replaced to the tune of $20,000, or a $36,000 foundation repair in the basement. I mean, I'm going to keep an eye out for stuff like that. We don't write offers on houses that are going to have a $36,000 problem, but you get my point, right? Like, builders are so easy to work with. Take advantage of that opportunity. It's very, very, very much worth it. So back to you in that model home, water in hand, nobody in your corner. Now you've got the 6 things they won't volunteer. The base price is the starting line, not the price. The buy down's real, but it only moves one number, so run the total, not the monthly. The builder's lender has to earn your business. You inspect a new build hard, not soft, and you hand the builder the whole report because they will fix it. Your leverage lives in the incentives and the timing, not the sticker. And you ask what happens to your rate if they run late, before you sign, not after. Walk in with those 6, and you're not the buyer they can show a monthly payment to and close. You're the buyer who knows the real number. That's who walks in there next time. So here's the offer. If you've got a model home appointment booked, or you're even thinking about new construction in Columbus, comment the community, the base price, before you sign anything. I'll send you back 2 things: what the real all-in number looks like on that house, and whether that builder is currently extending rate locks or leaving buyers exposed. That second one I don't put on the internet. I'm Adam Guy with Next Home Experience. My phone number and my email are in the description of this video. Don't sign at the model with nobody in your corner. Let me be the guy on your side of the table.